Japan is one hell of a place. With a population of 125 million, the cities are chaotic. But once you venture out and away from the hustle and bustle, the landscapes are vast and varied. Geographically, most of Japan is located in the northern temperate zone and has a humid and monsoonal climate, which attracts strong coastal winds and plenty of rain. As one travels north to Hokkaido, the northernmost island of Japan, the weather changes drastically. A subarctic climate, temperatures frequently dip below zero, and northerly winds blow cold pressure systems south from Siberia. As a winter sports lover, this is heaven, but as a cyclist travelling north, this can be hell. I've been travelling to Japan for years now. As a youngster, it was for the snow sports, but more recently, it's been to ride my bike. In 2023, I broke the infamous Osaka to Tokyo Cannonball FKT, 520 kilometers and 4,200 meters of elevation gain. I stopped the clock in 18 hours and 28 minutes. It had been chaotic, but I wanted more. Fast forward 12 months, and I'm boarding a plane back to Japan, with intentions of breaking the Japan end-to-end crossing fastest known time. And this is where this story begins. Being a supported FKT attempt, the quality of the team around me was as important as my ability to punish myself on the bike, hour after hour and with very little sleep. I was joined by my dad, Brian, and my uncle Mark. They'd act as the eyes in the back of my head, so to speak, making decisions on my behalf when I didn't have the energy to do so. In addition, I was lucky enough to have the support of Specialized Japan, who offered up 2 local ambassadors to both document the attempt and to assist with the language barrier where needed. Meet Kanao and Lucas. We arrived at the start point a couple of days before setting off. We bought a bunch of food, ate a bunch of food, and I got out for a couple of activation rides just to spin out the legs post-travel.
Fucking rain.
The weather wasn't looking great. Lots of rain and strong winds forecast. With 12 hours left before setting off, I decided to stop monitoring the weather and just accept it as an uncontrollable variable. Nerves were high, but I felt prepared for the chaos that lay ahead. It's the night before the morning of the challenge. I'm feeling excited. I'm nervous now. I wasn't nervous in the lead up, but I think nerves are a good thing. So to be nervous the night before is not a bad thing. Everything's ready. Got everything laid out here. I've just got to have some dinner, try and get an early night because tomorrow we're getting up at 12:45. And the plan is to start at around 2:33. So see you at the other end. The alarm sounded early. 1.5 hour drive to the start line at Cape Sata. It was quiet in the car. Nerves were high in anticipation for what lay ahead. A quick check of the bike, one final shot with the team, before hitting the start button on the Garmin. Day 1, morning 1, just ticked over the 100-kilometre mark and climbing up a little berg. Super tropical here. It was raining when we left, throwing it down actually, but it's not cold, so yeah, good first morning. Just adjusting to the bike with the aero bars and everything on it. It's not a normal position for me. Haven't spent a whole lot of time in the bars. Plan is to try and get accustomed to them as part of this ride and
Just spend more and more time on them each day because it's not super hilly, and there are some sections where I could definitely do with a bit of an aero benefit, so yeah, onwards.
At 2,503 kilometres, the time to beat was 5 days, 16 hours and 30 minutes. In my mind, to simplify things, I'd broken this down to roughly 500 kilometres per day. However, I knew that with a ferry crossing on day 4, it would be a shorter day, and so day 3 and 5 would need to be longer to make up for the lost distance.
It's annoying. Adds another level of stress to rain.
Yeah, I agree.
Bunch of local kids came out, which was pretty cool. So that lifted the spirits. Been bonking pretty hard. Struggling to get a bit of food in this afternoon, so yeah, that was good. Quick day one update. I was just at another set of traffic lights and expending so much energy just stopping, starting. That seems to be the theme of this ride so far. You do get sections where it's all right, and that's mint, but when you get into the cities, far out, it's just like relentless stopping, starting, stopping, starting. It's hectic. Not a great day yesterday. Well, I had sections of good intertwined between sections of suffering. Pretty bad. I think I overdid the carbs, so I went a little bit too heavy, too early for the simple sugars and died a slow death. So got to the afternoon, the headwind came in. I just couldn't stomach any food, so it made it a real slog. But anyway, I got through it. I actually didn't stop once yesterday. The only stoppages I had were for traffic lights. I was just conscious of time and the stoppages associated with the lights, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not stopping. Otherwise time just disappears. Got to the hotel just after 9 and fell straight asleep. Like I was falling asleep in the chair in the lobby before I could check in. Had a bowl of cereal in bed, went straight to sleep. Had about 3 hours sleep last night. Feeling relatively refreshed this morning and just warming into it.
Into day 2. I'm pretty cooked tonight. Far out. Long day. It was almost 20 hours to do the 500k. Just the traffic lights is hecticer. Really hard to find a rhythm, and then I think you just expend so much energy trying to get back up to speed. I stopped as well quite a few times because there were people out on course, and I wanted to say g'day and get a photo, and that's for me the cool part. So yeah, I lost time there as well, but we got here in the end, and I'm in bed having a little ice cream, so time to go to sleep.
Cheers.
Good luck, Jack. Let's go.
Speak English?
Eh?
Do you speak English?
No, sorry, no speaking.
Thank you for coming out.
Good morning from the road. 5:45, day 3. Not feeling too bad this morning. A little bit tired, but I'd almost say that's expected after a couple of longer days. So, nothing I wasn't expecting. How good are these views though? Pretty special spot. And the highlight so far, the absolute highlight was the guy out on course just after 5:30, cheering me along, which was great. That lifted the spirits. And the second highlight were the 2 warm hot chocolates I had partway down that first little pass. It's pretty cold. The other highlight is the amount of deer I saw. Bunch of deer roadside, so keeping positive.
Okay, do you want Mark to get you anything?
Some salted butter
Yep.
and some croissants.
Okay.
I just want some salted butter and jam.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Had a craving exchange. Every hour, something different. I haven't really been to the toilet, so I pretty much am pregnant. I've been once in the last 3 days. Too much information. Is there any more butter?
You need more butter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring the whole block.
You just want to eat the butter?
Yeah.
Croissant? Yep. A croissant as well?
And I got any double teas.
Huh?
And one more bit of liquor.
There's no chili case in here. Or
Looks like there's a bit of weather out there, eh? I think yesterday I was paying for the day before, like, being able to eat properly, you know. and just crave like 5 minutes of downtime, not having to do anything.
Hey, your rear light's not working. Fuck! Oh, good luck. We'll follow you.
My saving grace that night was a Brit named Andy. Waiting roadside, Andy joined me for a good half hour. Having some company and a human interaction, the laughs and all the banter, it was great.
I'm not going to go yet. I'm just making sure. I'm just thinking I want to make sure that I've got the breakfast in the box that I've got here, so we get. We're going to have to go down up and there.
And a litre of milk.
Yep.
And an ice.
Yep.
Day 3 had really seen me dig deep. A late arrival to the accommodation and just 1.5 hours sleep. Fatigue was really starting to catch up with me as I set off on day 4. Knowing that I had just one more day after this did help to motivate me. But I also knew it was going to be the biggest day yet.
Morning. Wow, it's been a rough old night. I had a super sore throat this morning. I picked up a little bug somewhere. I'm just a bit run down. But yeah, my arm's hurting. I feel like I've lost a bit of strength in the upper body on this one. There's been some tough times, there's been some good times. Gotta ride the wave, baby. Keep telling myself, ride the wave.
The goal of the day was to arrive in Aomori, the northernmost point of Honshu, in order to catch the ferry across to Hokkaido, the northernmost island in Japan. A longer day yesterday, I had just 400 kilometers to complete. But with a large storm sitting just off the coast, I was in for some challenging conditions for the rest of the afternoon. Every stop for food, to change clothing, reply to a message, take a photo, is time that you could be riding, chipping away at the record. And over the course of an entire day, worse still, an entire week, it adds up.
How's that food warming you up?
What it is, but it tastes pretty good. It's cold out there, right?
It's wet and very cold.
Started off windy, but now it's gotten, I don't know, it's like we're in a bit of a storm or something. I hope it doesn't get worse.
Yeah. I haven't even looked at the forecast.
Yeah.
wet roads and a fatigued mindset, the potential of missing the final ferry across to Hokkaido was now looking like a real threat. With just 60 kilometers to go, temperatures dropping, I decided I needed to stop for food. Real food.
For every sign I see, I'm like, far out, it looks like I've done 10k. I've done like 1 kilometer. Quite hard to see at night as well.
We reached the ferry with just 4 minutes to spare. Completely fucked. That night, I had the best 3 hours sleep of my life. One day, 580 kilometers to the finish line.
We made it. So 10 minutes ago we were still deep asleep. Touchdown in Hokkaido. What are you doing there?
Oh, I'm making peanut paste and jam sandwiches. Slab of butter with a
Bread?
serving of bread.
FUELIN.
that
Brekkie
that
there.
on there?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Not all of it. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got coffee, we've got cereal, had a couple of bacon and egg McMuffins, 7-Eleven style, and we're about to do the final push on to Cape Sawyer. So, alright, the charge.
Well, mate. Well done.
Go.
Let's go,
Last
Jack.
day.
Last day.
Let's go.
Last
Let's
day.
go.
Despite a deep sleep, over the last 4 days, I'd only had 12 hours of rest, total. Asthma and a lack of appetite paired with the cooler conditions of the far north, my body felt like it was starting to fall apart.
Normally I do this every morning, but this morning I didn't. I just feel it's a bit locked up. Feel about a foot taller.
Ice cream. What do you want? Ice cream? Yeah.
Slap it over your face so you don't get the cold air and it's quite chilly.
Support from local riders was beyond anything I'd have imagined. A simple wave, a smile, exchanging a few words in broken English. It inspired me to push on. As I rode into the afternoon and along the Western Cape, the wind began to howl. Energy fading, and with little to no appetite, I was really struggling. As the sun set, I realised that this should be my final night on the road, but reminded myself just how deep I was going to have to push. I'd underestimated just how cold it would get. -2 degrees Celsius with just 100 kilometers left to the finish line. Fingers numb. I stopped one final time to rug up and prepare for the final push. The realisation of what I'd achieved hadn't even begun to sink in, but that hug with my dad, that stillness at the finish line with the team, was so special.
We did it.
While my Japan crossing FKT had come to an end and I'd achieved everything I wanted to achieve, the biggest takeaway from this adventure was the sheer importance of a good team. Helping me through the lows and celebrating the highs. This is what I love about supported ultra cycling.
For all your help, man. So good.
This isn't my record, this is our record, and we'll forever share a bond because of what we achieved as a team.
You